So now we have already worked on stateful widget and how to change the state using set state method. There is another method which is very important in a stateful widget, which is called the init state. So what is init state? It is a function which is already there inside every stateful widget. You just have to write in. See here, I can get this helper. So if I click on enter, there is this function init state, and what it does it, when this screen or when this stateful widget is being built for the very first time, this is called. So that means before this build function, before the UI, this init state will be called. So if you want to see what I'm saying, let's print here init state, and in the build function let's print build function. Now let's restart the application. In the debug console, you will see first the init state was called, and secondly the build function was called. So this is very powerful and very useful when we are building a real world application. So you might be thinking, okay, but what is the use of this init state? So what we usually do is we assign some value. We assign some value to our variables, instance variables, you can say, to the data. Suppose this is, I will just, for example, this is string name. So this is one variable. Now this data is coming, suppose, from the previous screen, user name, and here I will just write this dot username is equal to Jeff Bezos. Now in the init state, I would like to assign that value, that is the all the data which is coming from the previous screen to this screen. We'll just write this dot name is equal to widget dot username, and then in the text bar I would like to show that username. Let's see, does it work or not? See, so what we did was the data was coming from previous screen to this screen, just for example, and here you are assigning that value to a variable which was empty, which was null earlier, but before building this screen, this value was assigned to that variable using the init state. Since because it is the first function which is being called when this widget was built, or you can say when this widget was building. Now suppose, I hope you remember the previous concept of set state. If I click on this, then the build function will be called again, but the init state function is only called once. So see, the build function is being called again because the page is being refreshed, but this init state thing won't, we cannot call it again. It is already it is only called once, or you have to remove this screen or go to different screen, totally different to page, and then come back to this page again. This is the only way. Here we just assign that value from the parent widget to this widget. Other things you can say, there are a lot of things like streams, text editing controller. So those value or those things which we want to initialize will be used, or we can initialize it in the init state. So right now you might be thinking what I am saying, but later on when we are using Firebase database, or we have to initialize something, that is suppose some HTTP request, these things we can do it in the init state. That means just start or initialize the thing as soon as this page is being built. So I hope you have understood the concept of stateful widgets and how pages are being built. This init state is very much important, but right now if you have understood only the concept also, then it's enough. We can move on to some other topics. Thank you.